Good evening, everybody. I've got my trusty helper with me today, and we're going to be making an impossible pie. So we're going to start with 4 eggs, although I've actually got 5 because 2 of them are pullet eggs. So I'm going to get my trusty helper to put that into the Thermomix. Now, if you don't have a Thermomix, that's not tragic. You can just use a beater, and if you don't have a beater, you can just use a fork. I'm using the Thermomix because I used it to measure everything out, and it just works well as a beater. Okay, so next you've got 2 cups of milk. So I've measured out 500 grams in the Thermomix. So my trusty helper will just pour that in there. Right, next you've got 1 cup of sugar. Then we've got half a cup of melted butter, although I'm using 125 grams, so half a stick of butter. So my trusty helper is just going to try and get that in without making a big mess. There we go. Now, normally you probably should melt that first, but I forgot about that. Then we've got half a cup of plain flour. This time I'm actually using gluten-free flour because a friend of mine's going to be joining us with this possibly, and she's gluten intolerant. Then we've got a cup of coconut essence, a cup of desiccated coconut, and then we've got half a teaspoon of vanilla essence, or you can use a teaspoon. I'm using half a teaspoon because this is quite strong. Now hopefully I'm not going to have problems with that butter not being melted, but I possibly will. But I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I have no idea whether this is going to work because I didn't melt the butter, but this is what it looks like after being beaten together. So generally you would melt the butter first. I'll put you back down there, and then you just pour it into the mixture into the pan. And generally speaking, when it cooks, it should separate. Although because I didn't melt the butter and I've done it a little bit wrong, it may not work. So I'll be back in a little while after it's cooked. It's going on for how long is it going for? Okay, it's going into the oven for an hour on 180 degrees. So I'll be back to show you the results. Okay, so an hour later and a custard later. I'll leave a link up there somewhere, and one in the description for the custard recipe as well, because I've been doing that while the impossible pie was cooking. So let's have a look at how the impossible pie has come out. As I said when I was making it, I did make a couple of little mistakes, and I'll leave the full recipe in the description so you can actually see how to do it properly. I was just in a bit of a fluster because I haven't actually done a video on camera, a recipe on camera before, so it's all very new. So let's see how she looks. See if I can get it out without destroying it. I'm just paranoid about taking it apart, that's all. So I've lost a bit of a chunk, but I don't know if you can see that. Well, try and get that. So you've got the coconut has gone up to the top and created a nice little crust. Then you've got the custard centre, and then the flour and the butter and everything has gone down to the bottom to actually make a bit of a crust. I've got a bit of a funny bubble there. But that is an impossible pie. And as you saw when I was making it, I didn't put any base on it, I didn't put any crust on it. I just put it all together in the pot, in the Thermomix, and mixed it up. And you could have done that by hand, or you could have done it with a blender. So that is the impossible pie. So I'd love to hear how you go with that. So let's show you up close. It's the impossible pie. It's very yummy. It's a shame you don't have taste-o-vision. Or the smell-o-vision, because it smells really nice in this kitchen at the moment. And this is stuff for tomorrow for Christmas. So I don't get to have any of it now either. Anyway, any comments, questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments section below. And I will leave a link up there if I can. I don't think I can at the moment because I haven't got 1,000 subscribers yet. To the recipe on the Thermomix recipe community for my recipe for impossible pie, but I will leave that down in the description down below, and I will also leave the instructions with cups rather than grams, because on the Thermomix website it does it all in grams. So yes, but my other recipe, my original recipe is actually in cups. So you've got half a cup of this and half a cup of that. So yes, now one thing I will say with the impossible pie is you can't just double the mixture to make twice as many pies. It doesn't work. I've tried it before and it just didn't work. So you really do need to do one at a time. But anyway, that's impossible pie. You have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bless you, and Merry Christmas. Bless you.